Now it's time for the Voice for the Industry podcast.
Well, all right. Hello, everybody. Hey, Carissa. We are here today. We're going to kick off our episode with Andrea Dahlgren with ARM Solutions. Very excited about that. I thought it was a really great episode.
Yes, it was very great. A lot of fun. She's a lot of fun, and we learned a lot.
Yeah, learned a lot about the exciting and sexy world of collections, which, it's very glamorous being in collections. But, she certainly made it seem pretty glamorous compared to what I thought it would be.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. And, it's funny, just like us, ARM specializes in the pest control and lawn care industry. She's been around a long time. She's gotten to meet a lot of great people, like me. But anyway, so I thought it was really fascinating how, there's a lot of companies don't really think about collections, and that they, ARM can come in there and really help them and give them an understanding of how to kind of set their company up for collection success.
Yeah. And like she said, like nobody thinks they want a collection agency, but once you work with one, she taught us a lot about how they can help you.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't do any good to go out and generate a bunch of revenue if you don't get it in the bank. So that's a really important thing, right? Talk a little about AI and collections. I think we're seeing more and more of that, and I thought it was pretty interesting where kind of what she thought was going on.
How can we not talk about AI?
We have to, and of course, the right way to eat pizza. And she had very specific ways to eat pizza, which I was surprised by.
Yes, you don't want to miss her perfect fold of pizza conversation.
Yeah, right. And yes, that's maybe one of the better parts of the episode. All right, well, let's get to it so everybody can hear that great pizza conversation at the end. All right, take it away. Well, hello and welcome to the Voice for the Industry podcast. We are very honored to have Andrea Dahlgren from ARM, Accelerated Revenue Management Solutions. Andrea is here to talk about a lot of cool stuff. Her experience in the industry, how ARM is helping a lot of pest and lawn care companies increase their revenue, collect the money that's owed them. So without any further ado, I am going to say hello, Andrea. How are you?
Hello, Raymond. Thanks for having me today.
My pleasure. Glad you're here. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to read your bio. Did you write the bio, or was this a marketing department thing?
I think it's a combination between the two of us. It was a collective effort. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because bios are interesting when you're sitting there and somebody's reading it. And it's almost like you're talking about yourself,
Like listening to your voice on an answering machine.
There you go. Here we go. Ready? Andrea Dahlgren is the Senior Vice President of Business Development at ARM Solutions, commonly referred to as ARM, right? Where she has been a driving force since 2010. I think we met about 15 years ago, right? Yeah, you looked a lot younger then.
I was.
With over 15 years of industry experience, Andrea specializes in accounts receivable management for pest control, lawn care, landscaping, and commercial cleaning companies. She is renowned for implementing diplomatic, flat fee collection strategies that enhance cash flow while preserving valuable customer relationships. Andrea has spoken nationally on best practices in collections and plays a key role in shaping ARM Solutions programs for service providers across the country. ARM Solutions is proud to be the only collection partner of the National Pest Management Association, a reflection of the trust Andrea and her team have built within the industry. Very impressive. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I just had my anniversary here this month, so excited to celebrate that with the team, and a lot of great clients and stuff had some nice things to say online as well. So
yes. Well, in the interest of full disclosure, you and I have known each other a long time. You and I would consider us very good friends. I don't know if you do or not, but no, you and I are very good friends. We hang out a lot at the trade shows. So I may make a couple jokes with you that I wouldn't make with other people. All right. So, Andrea, thanks again for being here today. I'd like to start off with you just telling us about your experience in the collections industry as a whole and kind of how you got into the whole pest control and lawn care and just your journey, so far.
Thank you. It was a little bit by accident, a little bit on purpose. I've come from the mortgage background and had worked in that sector for several years. And when I had my youngest, I needed to kind of transition, and we made a move here down from Orange County up to our area here now, Thousand Oaks, California, where the main office is located, and needed to make a change. And I've always been selling, and I in credit and collections, I had a little, and also in mortgage, and found ARM Solutions actually through a friend of a friend, and was referred to them. It was a very small company at the time. It's not, you're not excited to work for a collection agency. It's kind of something different, something new.
It's really
But my
glamorous, though. It's a very glamorous
It's so
thing. Right?
glamorous. I mean,
Yeah.
like, the jokes
Yeah.
that I get, that
All
people
right.
come and ask me is,
Well,
so, we get, but it was something that I really enjoyed because it was a different kind of company. The company was born from people that really cared about what they were doing, their work they were doing. They really cared about the clients that they worked for and doing a great job. And so I loved working there. It was definitely for the people. ARM has some really great people that work there. And then from there, going into my sales career, there's different industries that we specialize in, pest, lawn care, propane, waste disposal, trash, bottled water, cleaning, HVAC. So all of those were kind of like, okay, here, available for me to work. And we would attend trade shows and conferences. And then once I kind of went to a few of the pest control industry shows. One might have been that the first year was in Hawaii for Pest World. That might have been something to do with it. But
yeah.
then
Yeah.
actually the people, it was the mom and pops, the people would come in and they cared about each other and their own companies as well as even their competitors. So whatever services that they liked or enjoyed or things that worked for them for their business, they would share that with their competitors. And it was unlike any of the other industries
Right.
that I had worked with. And that was like, you know what? These are the type of people that I want to spend hours, at trade shows and talking with them. They really care about what they're doing. And so this was a good fit because it matched my energy as well as in terms of what I was caring about.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the pest control and lawn care industry is like it's people that want to help people. I mean,
Yes.
that's what pest control. That's what
Yes.
your job is, right? And the fact that and I think that's one reason that most companies are just really open to. It's mind blowing that I go to a lot of these peer groups and stuff, and even people that compete directly, like they're in the
Yes.
same neighborhood, But ultimately, if everybody's better, then all the customers are better, and I think that's where the sharing, and then of course, for your side of the thing, whereas if you do good for a couple companies, then they're always sharing everything, right? It kind of builds from there. So,
Yeah, that's how I, built my business here, is that really just by word of mouth and by sharing with people and, what we do. And then they have a great experience because I don't think anyone's really going out there excited to work and look for a collection agency. It's not like, oh, I'm opening a business to try to collect debt from past due customers. It's not why they're in business. They're in business to help
right.
people. They love the marketing, the sales side of things, servicing all of that. But then when it comes to collecting on past due debt, they're like, I don't want to deal with this, but who can help me? And it has to be somebody that I trust.
Right. Right. Because it's your money. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And I will say that, you are very well known in the industry. We go to a lot of the same conferences, a lot of the same trade shows. Everybody knows who you are. And that says a lot about your durability in the industry, but also you haven't made too many people mad, because if you make a few people mad, then, they spread the word. Right.
Especially in
So that's
collection.
great. Yeah. So, so I just share my experience, and again, full disclosure, I was a customer of ARM from when I worked at McCall Service back, like, I think about 15 years ago is when we started, and I think Brad, the owner, was actually like my sales guy or something. I don't know, but I will say that what we experienced with ARM, and again, this was a long time ago, is it made a huge improvement to our business, because what we were able to do because of the process, which you'll talk about, you guys said, well, just, we always advise our customers at a collection fee, right? And we're like, collection fee, how much? So we came up with this $40 collection fee. And the beauty of the collection fee was we were able to use it in different ways, right? So a lot of people would just pay it, right? So we got $40. And then sometimes people would want to negotiate. So we always started with half off. Well, we'll cut it in half, 20. And then we would really ultimately write it off, just get rid of the collection fee, because the main thing was just to get the balance, right? If they owed us $90, we wanted
Or
$90.
to get them to sign back up with you guys.
Get them to sign to auto pay, whatever. So we actually made enough money off of our collection fees to more than cover the cost of what you guys, ARM, charged us. So ARM actually became a profit center
for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was great. But now that I've set you up as well as you could be set up, tell me, what kind of sets ARM apart? What is it? What is, how are you guys raising the bar? What makes you unique? Why should people use you instead of somebody else?
Well, there's a million collection agencies out there. I'm sure that companies get called all the time and they say, okay, hey, I'm here to help collect your debt. I mean, your phone probably rings, and there's tons of them out there. Some are state specific, some service the entire country, but most of them are only carrying about one-time big balance sizes. And so that is probably the biggest barrier to any success that a collection agency is going to have in this industry, is that you're looking, especially on residential side of things, like a lot of smaller balance sizes. So if I'm working on a commission basis, that's what most collection agencies do. It's like a last ditch effort. You work the account internally for a long period of time, and then you go, okay, 6, 8, 10, 12 months. Let's send it out to this agency and see what they can do. And if they're successful in collecting, they charge a percentage based on what they collect. Now that sounds great, on the surface, but if you kind of dig down deep, you take a look at what they're going to go after. They're going to go after $5, $10, $20,000 accounts or more. They want commission, so that's where they go after. And so smaller, especially residential, will tend to get neglected. So they'll do like a real light touch, a light effort. So the results aren't great. And if they do get in contact with the customers, they're typically rude, aggressive. They could care less about the relationship. So it's just like a quick hit, to try to get some kind of money in the door. They don't care about the aftermath. Yeah.
Scorched earth. They don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do is a little bit different. We are thinking about not only collecting that money, but also the future business. So, that reoccurring revenue is how you built your company. So by protecting that reoccurring revenue, by using diplomatic language, a lot of customers will still continue service, because usually they think collections, okay, I'm out the door, I got to find somebody else. But if you talk about collections and working with them again, of course, if they do pay the account, it's kind of the best of both worlds. So that is, one of the big differentiators. It's also with our flat fee program, we're also doing it so for a lower cost. So instead of a huge commission on the back end, we charge a low flat rate rather than that huge commission. Therefore, it keeps your cost per dollar down, typically around that 10% range, rather than the 30 to 50, which is what usually collection agencies charge. So it's collections, retention, lower cost. And then instead of that cherry picking that I said happened, with those contingency agencies for those big balance sizes, every account gets a consistent treatment. So when we're doing that, higher results, lower cost, diplomacy, it brings like everything that you want as a business. So we're a better partner for you guys rather than that last ditch contingency agency.
No, that and that 35 or 40% of $90 isn't a whole lot of money, and they're not going to get too excited about trying to collect that, right?
Yeah, they're like,
right. That's the bottom line. Yeah, but if I'm paying, if you're paying ARM a flat rate, whatever it is, I don't know what it is. I know what it used to be. Paying a flat rate, I mean, you're paying
between like $8 to $20. It depends. Okay. It's based on volume.
Okay, so $8 to $20. It's a fixed cost. You can budget, you can plan, because your historical AR, right? So it's just a better fit all the way around in the business. And the thing that we really appreciated when I was a customer was you guys did a really good job of maintaining that relationship. You acted as us. A lot of the times the customer didn't even know it wasn't us. And then when they sent payments and stuff, they went right to
yeah. So you guys receive all the payments, no commissions taken. Yep. So we put your website on there. We'll text people to pay over the phone, online. We'll send payments through the mail. So all the ways that you communicate with a customer, we're doing so, but in a third party. So it gives a little bit more, more teeth when we're talking to these people. So there's a certain point, where a third party is important. and there's a certain point where third party can come in too soon. You want to have
Right.
that good balance where you're collecting but not upsetting the customers in the process because they feel like they didn't get a warning.
Right. And the good thing is you guys have the experience. Somebody, a smaller company or somebody that's new to your concept, you know. I mean, you've done it so long, you've done it to so many customers, you can kind of pretty much lead them through it, and they know exactly what to expect, right?
Yeah, recommendations. I mean, ultimately the clients get to choose where they place and at what age, but we always give recommendations based on current client success because we service so many pest control companies across the country that we know like what works, what doesn't work, what age, and there's different things that people are doing, whether it's a door-to-door sales versus inside sales. Those are different liquidation rates because door-to-door sales aren't necessarily as sticky. So it is sometimes a harder debt to collect. We've been seeing a lot of changes recently with adding balance of contract and late fees onto accounts. Certain states are saying no, no, no. So they're getting more strict.
Really?
So that's something that we do to kind of help protect you guys and say, hey, like, this is where the laws are this is what they're telling you and this is where they're going because we're behind some of that legislation. So we can tell you like, hey, this is where you can be more lenient. This is where you should give grace. But hey, enforcing balance of contract in these certain states may put you in like legal,
Jeopardy.
Yeah, legal jeopardy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in collections jail.
You don't want to be
too.
the pauper's jail for not paying. Yeah. Well, so perfect segue then. So what should companies do? What can companies do to set themselves up for collection success?
Well, one of the things they need to do is really take a look at their service agreements. Make sure that what they're saying and to go in length what is talked about in terms of like collection efforts, fees, financing charges. The language is so important. So having your legal team review those contracts to make sure they're in line with what you can collect and what you can't is super important. Also, what are your technicians doing at the time of the sale? So is it a quick hit? Do you fully explain the services to your customers? Do they know what to expect? Do they know the billing charges, the frequency level? When they're receiving your service, that's when there's a need and they're there to listen to you. This is where you're setting up the expectation of how the customer is going to be handled within your company. So by explaining the terms, the expectation for payment, gathering comprehensive contact information, all of those things when you're, helping that customer out at the time of the sale is so important because then they have an understanding of, hey, I'm going to get invoiced in this X days. Auto ACH is a requirement. All of these things are explained to me at that time. Then typically pretty much, after that service has been, completed at the home or the business, following up on that and letting them know like, hey, validated they've received a copy. They understand what the terms are, making sure they had a great service and, scheduling any follow-ups they may need. So really what the pest control, what we do on the back end is the same. Like flat fee is very consistent. Like every account goes through the same treatment. So liquidation is going to change, whether it's a low income area or whether you are not necessarily explaining terms or the process correctly. That's what's affected in a third party. So really it's at the time of the sale is what the pest control companies can do in order to ensure that the debt is going to be collected and bringing their DSO down because the customers understand. It's not like the old days where when I first started, an invoice was just sitting on the door. And then if it was paid, it was paid. If it was not, it was not. And they would rack up services. It'd be 6 months, 8 months behind. And now this customer is out of their budget. They can't pay for all of these back end services. Yeah, they may receive the bill, but you really didn't follow up on them. So they thought they were going to get out of it.
Yeah. And so that's fantastic information. And what I see is companies, they focus a lot on sales and getting the revenue produced, and we'll talk about retention, right?
Behind the books.
Yeah, but they don't really, they don't think about what they can do, like going for auto pay, right? Like a lot of people want their customers auto pay, but I think there's a bit of a difference in what it costs you, whether they auto pay with a credit card versus like ACH, right? But yeah, so I just think there's a lot of things that pest control lawn care companies, they don't take into account. They focus on all these other things and they just
Just the
figure,
numbers.
oh, we'll
They want
collect
the
the money.
number of seats. Like they're selling this
Right,
summer. They don't care what the fallout of in the fall
right,
or the winter time is when we see the delinquencies. They just want to, bring on accounts. They don't care what happens with those accounts on the back
right.
end.
So it's really important to have that infrastructure like you're talking about, have the contract language, right? Have your processes,
Mm-hmm.
know when when you've decided that you're going to turn this over to ARM, right? How much effort you want your employees to put in the collect. All those things are really important, right? Steps to get the company lined up and in good shape to collect money. Because to your point, you guys do the same things, and I'm assuming you see vastly different responses and results based on the customer you have, right? So
Oh, big time. Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely has to do with what that client does prior to. And that's something that we're doing more and more is that we're asking like, well, we always ask what their processes are, but we're more like, well, what do your contracts say? Can you, where are you at in terms of like in the country to be able to enforce late fees, contract cancellation charges? Because when we're trying to collect on this debt, they see ARM, and even though the company's trying to charge it, this consumer is very savvy and knows like, hey, I know you can't charge it in this area. So then they make a stink, but the stink is for us and the stink is for the client. So you want to try to like figure out how to do that due diligence up front. Therefore, like we're collecting on, good valid debt, which sounds like most agencies are like, give it to us, we'll just try it. And
right.
like we're more strategic, and we want to make sure we're protecting those relationships, because all the industries that we work with are subscriber based. It's all about the future business. It's not just that
Right.
one time balance.
Right. If you're trying to collect on a car payment, that's a whole lot different because you keep them going, right? All right. Well, we can't have a discussion in 2025 without talking about AI. I mean, is it
Okay.
just you got right? Okay, so now it's time for AI. So, how do you see? We got to have it. How do you see AI? Changing the future of collections in the pest and lawn industry. Are you guys doing? Are you guys looking at different ways to utilize AI? Kind of what's the whole thing on AI with ARM?
So we're all kind of like in the same boat right now, where everyone's like testing things and seeing the skill level of like what can be done with AI. For us right now, we're using it more for better data, like how to like understand contact rates, and understand what words people will pay from at what time of day, the frequency level for contacting them, and understanding really the customer's behaviors right now, because AI can basically take a look at everything that we've compiled over the years and saying, this is the best way to contact people. So we use it today in our flat fee program to use, hey, because we use all like phone calls, letters, text messages, emails, like all of that is being used in a third party. So what is this customer responding to? Like do they like the text messages? Are they using the emails? So AI is now using it to be for now to be able to help us collect better for our clients. But where it's
Makes
moving
sense.
to is now potential voices. Like, can we use an AI voice and an agent to be able to collect in a third party? Obviously, that has to be worked out through, our regulatory board. But I've heard a couple of voice automated services that were either customer service focused, not necessarily full collections. And I was impressed. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was not a real person for about 2 minutes until I kind of was trying to trick it. So I don't think it's quite there yet, but I'm really excited because I think it's going to be great for our company. I don't think a human touch still matters, and I think in a sales and an agent aspect, but I think we're trying to figure out how to use it today. And then of course, on our side, it has to be approved legally to have an AI voice rather than a human agent. Because we're regulated a lot heavier than,
Right.
like if you were just open a pest control company and use an AI voice, like there's not a regulation for that,
Right.
but we're
Right.
regulated a little bit heavier.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a big difference from AI voice agents a year ago and AI voice agents now. And the amount of improvement is pretty dramatic. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. And I'm kind of hoping, thinking that maybe at some point it's going to be like, you're going to have to be required to say, I'm an AI agent. They're going to
Yeah,
have to
like it has to be
identify
some sort
themselves.
of like,
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
you're in an online bot, it says bot and then it transfers to
Right.
agent.
Right.
So like it has to be some sort of transparency. So all of that I think is being worked out, and then we'll get to kind of benefit from that. I'm gonna probably say like I'm gonna say 2026, 2027 is where we might have like,
Yeah.
hey, like what if that, and even a sales side of things. So some of these pest control companies just want to get some information about collections. I'm getting up there in age. They got to go over to AI and try to
There you
try to
go.
help
There
them
you
out
go.
as much
Yeah.
as possible.
Well, I think what we're seeing with AI, at least from ours, the phone system side and everything else, is a lot of people are concerned like AI is going to replace everybody.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is, why not use AI to accomplish everything you can with AI, and then the human beings do everything else, right? If you can use an AI, like we know that 70% of calls coming into pest control collections and scheduling, right? So if you can use an AI agent to do half of that or however much, and then the humans only have to spend their time working on the things AI can't get done, right?
Yeah.
So it's not replacing. It's really, the way I see it is, it's really playing to the strengths of what a human agent can do that the AI agent can't do, right? The AI agent can do a lot of things really fast and all that, but like you said, there's certain conversations you really have to be a human being to have. So I
No,
kind of see it going that
and
way. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, right now it's like, yeah, it's helping us with analytics, and you can use it for like automated reminders. So like, the pest control company that I use like uses a lot of AI, and like texting, scheduling, customer service, survey follow up, all of that basic stuff, which is super easy because it's like self service. But like collections, it's like I need a copy of the invoice, or I was upset, or there's this dispute. There's a conversation that has to happen. So that's where I think like it needs to evolve to whatever that to be able to have those conversations. But I think the scheduling, like I love being able to just boop boop boop. Here's show up here next
Yeah.
Wednesday. Like I don't have to call, wait on hold.
Right.
And
Yeah. No,
you're
it's
a live person. I like self service.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think more and more the younger generations are just that's what they live with, and that's just what they expect. But I am excited. Something you said made me think. Like I'm excited. Like as a pest control owner, like if I can use AI and say, you know what, you collect 10% more of this service than that service, right? Maybe I want to do more of the service I collect more on, or maybe I want to change the way I do that. So I think that's pretty exciting with what AI is going to be able to do. All right. Well, this has been great. So this is your chance for a shameless plug. You can say anything you want, talk about anyone, tell us how great ARM is, talk about how great your kids are, your dogs. This is Andrea time. So
I wish I
any
had my
closing
dogs.
thoughts, anything you'd like to share?
My
What's that?
dogs would be snoring too loud, so I did not
Oh,
include
okay.
them in
All
the
right. Fair enough.
conversation today. But they are one of my selling tools. Um, I mean, it's great though now. COVID was 5-6 years ago, but like what has taken place, I think, from the industry is when I'm talking to people and we're talking about collections. A lot of people are home and working from home and having that flexibility. So that I think has been great in terms of just like the changes in the last few years. So I get to share my animals and all of that stuff, which is a big part of my life. But
Yep.
shameless plug for ARM. I'd be happy to do it. I've done it a little bit throughout this podcast, but the company is excellent. Like I said, I've been there for 15 years, and to work with the people that I work with, whether it's a key account, client services, data, management team, it's a really supportive company, and they really care about their clients. It's clients first, and our clients drive a lot of our solutions. So where can we see improvement? They're going to be very vocal in telling us, and so we're going to take that feedback back to the team and be able to implement that and be able to improve the process. So ARM, again, great company to work for. But some of the things you had said earlier in the podcast in terms of like endorsement from the NPMA, as well as integrations within a lot of the software platforms we have as well. We're very supportive of the industry. So you'll see us I was just at the Women's Forum last week or the week before in Texas, which was excellent. I can't wait to go again next year. Raymond, I encourage you to
I'm going to
join
go.
me.
I'm going to go next year. I'll be
Yeah,
there.
there was a few gentlemen there just listening and taking notes, but also giving feedback as well. And it was great to see their interest in what we were talking about, as well as like Pest World, and a lot of the local shows for the software platforms. You'll see us. So we're very supportive of the industry. We do a lot of best practices and collections, continue education. So that's the position I always come from. You know, it's not like, hey, we're going to reduce, yes, we're going to reduce your rate, but the whole benefit is like, what are you doing before? What can we help you with afterwards? So it's a great partnership. High level of transparency you get with ARM. Great customer support. I already said that, but you can edit that out there.
Yeah, we'll get all those duplicates. Now that was pretty shameless. You did a good job. That was pretty shameless plug. Yeah, and I'm going to give you one last one. As a former customer, I would agree with everything you said. It was a great company to work with. On a personal level, everybody's, like you said, very friendly, very nice. Wants you to be successful as a customer. So, very good. All right. Well, so that's all the serious stuff. So now it's game time. Are you ready for game time?
Ready.
Carissa, you coming in? We're going to bring in Carissa Wilson, the Voice for Pest marketing manager, but the producer, executive producer, line producer, scheduler, the everything. She's the everythinger for this podcast, but talk. I just talk and she does everything else. And she actually
behind the scenes.
She actually makes sure I have the bio. She makes sure I'm on schedule. So Chris is here to help us play the game. So,
okay.
All right, here we go. First one, pizza, thin crust, thick crust, deep dish. What do you like?
Definitely thick crust and a deep dish. I mean, I like the doughy, but then if I'm having a margarita pizza, then it's a thin crust. So if I'm having meat on it thick, margarita thin.
So the protein determines the type of crust.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think so.
Interesting. Carissa, what about you?
Thin crust all the way.
Yeah. I'm a thin crust. I do like the Pizza Hut pan personal. That little pan pizza is really good.
That's thick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you a folder of the crust?
You can fold the thin. You can't fold the thick.
Carissa?
If you fold the thick, it's too greasy, and then
it falls apart. Yeah, the stuff falls
apart.
Out.
So definitely the thin, you have to fold that. But then you have to have a perfect piece of the basil leaf from margarita pizza to consistently eat throughout the slice. So you want to make sure that leaf is folded perfectly, so you don't get like too much leaf when you don't want it.
Very specific. Do you move the leaf so it's centered before you fold it?
No, you position it like so your leaf is so you get a bite of the for each piece of the pizza.
I never realized how important that leaf was.
I mean, you got to throw the whole pizza away and start again.
Wow. Wow, that's you really have very specific desires.
That was my first job. Was at Domino's Pizza.
Ah, nice.
So I was the tosser.
So you can make a pizza dough?
I can. I can make a pizza.
Oh, interesting. Next time, anyway. Carissa, you a folder?
I feel like you're setting me up for this one.
I am.
I use a fork and a knife. I know. And I'm from New York, so I know it's like frowned upon, but yes.
Wow.
I knew that.
I knew it. Very proper.
I knew you were setting me up.
Very proper.
But I will say this, my fiance eats her pizza with a fork, and I ridicule her endlessly as well. So all's fair.
You spill a lot? Maybe that's why you don't want to like the marinara to drop down?
I've always been that way. I don't know why.
You know what? You're special just the way you are, Carissa.
Do you eat the crust?
There you go.
Yeah. That'll like rip apart.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, next one.
And all hell breaks loose.
We're going to move on from the knife. I can't think about pizza anymore after that. But no, I'm a folder. I'm a meat guy. I like a lot of pizza. I like Hawaiian pizza. There's nothing wrong with pineapple on pizza. Too bad.
Hawaiian.
If you don't like that, don't come on the podcast.
A lot of people don't like Hawaiian, but I'm in there for the Hawaiian. And that's another thing. You need consistent pineapples throughout your chunks.
Well, here we go again.
Pizzas.
Wait, they have to be consistently sized and consistently spaced.
A clump of pineapples in your mouth, like you want to spread it out.
Right. You don't want a big old chunk of pineapple and then a little chunk. You want, consistent.
Yeah.
Knife cuts. Knife cuts are important.
Maybe I
All
should
right.
be cutting my pizza.
I don't know.
That perfect bite.
See?
Oh, wait a
You know,
minute.
something.
That's going to give you the specific bite you want every time.
Yeah, perfect bite.
Smart.
Right.
Smart. Okay, number 2, tacos, soft or crunchy?
Again, this has to do with the
Soft.
protein. So I'm going to say if it's a shredded beef, I like a crunchy taco. But if it's a carnitas, I'm in for like a soft taco. So soft shell.
Okay. All right, Carissa?
Soft. Crunchy, too messy.
See, I look at it, I'm a crunchy guy, but to me, a soft taco is really just like an open-faced burrito. So if you're going to have an open-faced burrito, just have a burrito. And if you want a taco, get some crunchy. But they are messy, but that's kind of the fun.
What about the ones that have the multiple layers of the crunchy and the soft?
Yeah, they have the soft
Then you get
as a
best of both worlds.
yeah, they have a soft as like the holder, right? Or the crunchy is the holder, whichever it is. Yeah, those are good.
No, I think it's a Crunchwrap Supreme. The outside is soft, and then inside is the crunch, right?
They have the crunch. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they do it both ways. Not Taco Bell specifically, but I think I've seen it both ways, or maybe I was really inebriated. I don't know. But anyway,
We're promoting Taco Bell as well on this podcast.
there you go. Yes, Taco Bell. All right. All right. Last one. Ice cream. Cone, cup, bowl. I mean, if you're out somewhere, you're going to get a cone, you're going to get a cup.
That's what I'm saying. It's if I'm mobile, I need a cup. Because I spill. Like if I'm just sitting and enjoying my ice cream, like we had like Saturday night, we celebrated Mother's Day because I was out of town and with my mom, and we went to a new gelato spot, and I was stable and in one place, so I had a cone. And so, but if I were going to take it home with me, I need a cup with and then you freeze it, and then you have it later for a snack.
So I'm assuming that whatever kind of meat you have on your ice cream doesn't have an effect on whether it's a cone or a cup. In this case, it's not about the protein.
On my ice cream.
It's not about the protein.
It before, but I haven't had it.
Yeah. All right. Carissa, cone or cup? I knew it.
See, I think I just need to be a clean eater.
I knew. There's no doubt. No doubt. The funny thing is, I'm a messy guy, but have been. This point in my life, I'm kind of swerving away from the cone more to the cup.
Oh.
I just because it is mess. It's not as messy.
What if
it's a little
waffle
easier.
Cone?
Well, then I got to go for a waffle cone. Yeah. Especially there's waffle cones that are chocolate covered and they have a big plug of chocolate in the bottom to keep it from leaking. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, they're good. Well, thank you, Andrea. Unfortunately, I don't have any more questions off the top of my head. Do you have a question?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
I have a question for you. I was talking with somebody recently about your company, and they had a couple of questions for me, and I couldn't answer them about like some of the AI stuff that you guys are implementing at Voice for Pets. What you told me back at the WorkWave user conference, you were telling me a little bit about it, but I wanted to tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing.
Do I get to shamelessly plug on a podcast that's owned and produced by Voice for Pets? Because I'll do it.
Yes, the Venmo $5 Venmo you sent me came through.
There you go.
So, yeah,
there you go. I might even put your name on here just because of that. Anyway, no. So well, thank you for that question, Andrea. It wasn't a pizza question, but no, So what we're doing is we have a fantastic AI partner called X-Ray Labs, and what we're doing is we're basically able to analyze call information and because our AI is trained in the industry and really understands, like you said earlier, what people say and the words they use, we can really pull some amazing information. In our X-ray dashboard, we can tell companies almost everything they want to know. We can tell them what service people are calling to buy. We can tell them how their employees are doing. We can do some amazing stuff. And then we also have some, like we have CRM integration. So in a CRM, our customer can go into their customer's account, and in the notes, they can see, hey, the last time we spoke to that person, were they happy or unhappy? The last time we spoke to them, were they at risk of being, canceling? You get the summary, you get the transcript, you get all this information, and there's just more and more coming. So there's a lot of AI out there. There's a lot of AI in phone systems out there. I've seen some. I think ours is really good, of course. but I really do. And then our ability to integrate it into the CRMs that most of pest and lawn care companies use, I think is huge. So
That's
that's
going to
my
be
answer to
super
that question.
important, I think, from a collection aspect too, because if you think about it, you're going to hear why people are not paying. So one of the great things about like when you're calling people early and often before they are past due is like sometimes you get a hold of people, sometimes you don't. But when you do, they're going to tell you a lot of for the reasons why they're not paying. Most of the time it's financial issues, but your AI can be able to kind of pull out different talking points in terms of like what, is it a service? Is it billing? Like, is my technician making me upset? Like, what are the reasons why? Because not 100% is financial. Like they're in a service-based environment, you have other issues in there why people are protesting.
I think a lot of it's not
that
financial.
AI can help tell you like, hey, this is what's happening early in the process and why people are not paying later on. So I think that's going to be super beneficial and helpful to these pest control companies and reducing their DSO and collecting more people before they even go past due.
You said GSO earlier, and I was going to stop you and have you explain that acronym, but you were rolling.
GSO?
So what is GSO? Yeah.
Days sale outstanding. So it's basically like how long on average does it take for a customer to pay your company? So like the best I thought I had heard, and I was corrected. So the best that I had ever heard was 14 days. Like that was their average. And then when I spoke at the user conference in Dallas earlier this year for WorkWave, somebody stopped me at the back and said, we're at 12 days. We're at 12 days. So a new client, a different, not the same client, a different client.
Right.
And so I was like, whoa, okay. So it has to do with what you do internally. Like, you want to balance it. You don't want to be too aggressive. You're not like calling people multiple times a day and over communicating, because that can be expensive as well as it can be annoying. But by using that, it really does help to reduce DSO, and that's early cash. Like the earlier you get the cash, the more profitable your company, the faster you can grow. You're not spending money on like following up on the past due.
It's your money and it's in the bank and you're getting interest. Now,
exactly.
We can actually, with our X-ray dashboard, we can actually build out a separate section just for collections. Like for larger companies have a collection department. We can analyze all the billing and collection calls specifically based on whatever parameters that customer wants to know, right? So it's pretty powerful stuff. And thanks for that question. All right, well, I guess that's it. Carissa, did we miss anything?
No, I got it all.
The question. I think we did good on the time, all things considered. Hey, Andrea, did we miss anything? You feel good about it? You enjoy yourself?
I feel great. I appreciate you having me on. I do appreciate the nice plug and stuff for ARM Solutions, but again, our position here is not like, the way that when we talk to people initially about collections, it's not like you have to sign up for our agency. It's a collaborative process. And that's the part that I really enjoy talking to clients and saying like, hey, what we're doing today and what we're doing a year from now is going to be totally different. And so it is changing the course of their process and improving their company, and get a lot of people that call back and say, hey, I wasn't excited to work with you because you're an agency, but after all of that, we make it a really great process and to help our pest control and our lawn care company. So thank you for having me today, Raymond.
ARM is bringing the sexy back into collections. We like it. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And this was the inaugural recording for our podcast, and we'll leave this in so everybody knows you are our first guest that we actually recorded a podcast with. So thank you.
Autographs at the end.
Yes, and there's a lot of stuff nobody's ever going to see that we screwed up. So thank you for being part of that as well.
Okay, good. Editing.
Right. Have a good day, Andrea. See you later.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
See you next time.